Welcome back to another episode of the Blitz Break. I'm your host, Phil Rasmussen. Thanks for joining us on another Friday. We're excited to be here with you. As always, you can catch us here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and all the clips on all the social media. So I hope you'll join us. Please click subscribe if you haven't already. Really excited to kickstart our episode today. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime who refuses to do anything about his shoes and drives me crazy every week. Our resident Texan and longtime mortgage coach, teacher, leader, and resident just market expert, Buzz Howard. Thanks for being here, man.
I am excited today. Today's episode is really going to be all about heating and air conditioning. At Big Valley Mortgage, we started a program that we call Give Value. And one of our partners in that is Jaguar Heating and Air Conditioning. And the actual founder here is here with us today. Really excited to get some of his insights, what's going on in that industry. So, Mustafa, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'll tell you how I got together with Jaguar Heating and Air. First thing, as I started working on this program, I thought you have to have heating and air conditioning people as part of this, right? I mean, it's a huge part of the home, and it's so important, especially in Sacramento when it's getting hot. And so I went to ChatGPT and I said, who's the best local heating and air conditioning group? And their name was at the very top. So I reached out to him. Your guy Gene, he responded back. I went in. You guys are located downtown at your main office, right?
That's correct.
And so I live downtown, and so it was like exciting. I went over, and you guys have just been really fantastic. Came to our skate date night that we had around Valentine's Day. So, Mustafa, tell us a little bit. Now, I understand that you had been in the industry for a while, and you decided, hey, there's so many weird things going on out there with other contractors. You just founded your own company, and you got like 30, technicians out in the field. It's an amazing showroom.
Thank you.
Down off of W.
Thank you.
So tell us your journey. How did you get to where you are? What's that story?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having us today, Mr. Phil, Mr. Buzz. I really appreciate it. Big Valley Mortgage. I appreciate your time. That's number one, because I know time is probably the most valuable thing we have in life. And I will get into the story. And as you said, homes, when you think about homes, you think about HVAC. I cannot think about home without HVAC.
Yeah.
What a miserable life will be, So our story, it's probably simple, but it's big. So I started back in 2008, and I used to work for a different company here in Sacramento, and I worked for them for 3 years, 3 years and 9 months to be accurate. And then we had our first baby, and we had to take some time off, for the baby, and back in 2013, if you would. So stayed home, and we were excited. Me and the wife, first baby,
Absolutely.
Baby girl. So excited. Okay, we're preparing and doing the right things. Preparing for a newborn. And at the time, the economy was shifting a little bit. So I started thinking about actually shifting my life also with the economy. So back in 2013, talked to the wife, and I said, I'm going to quit my company. She said, no.
No, you're not.
No. She said, you cannot do that. We have insurance with them, medical insurance, and I'm 3 months due. I'm pregnant. So I know that. So I said, just give me a chance. So the bridge was super hard to cross, and but thank you so much for her because she believed in me. You know, big decision. Quit the job.
Without a doubt.
Open a business. We don't know if the business is going to succeed or not. It's very important, you know, like, okay, we quit the job. So what's next? You know, like you're getting into, I'm not moving to a different company. I'm moving to a different life actually, you know, and by opening Jaguar Heating and Air, first of all, we picked the name Jaguar and she said, okay, now why is that?
Why the Jaguar?
Jaguar. A lot of people ask me all the same question, like why Jaguar Heating and Air? And back in the days, you know, I picked a name that get us free research. That's number one, you know. Jaguar. Everybody knows Jaguar.
Sure.
You know, not everybody knows Mustafa, but everybody knows Jaguar. So I said, okay, we'll start with the name. And she said, okay, what is next? And I said, okay, the plan is me and you, whatever service calls we can get, and we start with advertisement. Back in the days were a little bit different than nowadays. You know, we didn't have the social media as of right now, if you would. I remember started with Yellow Pages books.
Okay.
Believe it or not, back in 2013,
Sure.
still exists. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And the AT&T book and the Valley book and the Buy Local. And I called the reps and said, okay, I'd like to start a business. And they were excited, okay. Gave me a few options and so, okay, that's my first step to start the business. And the plan was with the wife, me and you, whatever service calls come in. Back in the days, actually, my house was, the mortgage payment was very low, almost nothing. So I said, we can handle this. Like whatever money comes in, we can deal with it, and we'll continue our life. Me and you and the baby come on the way. You help me answering the phone calls, and I go in the field and fix them, and whatever money comes in, basically that's good enough for us. And after days and nights and talking to her more and more and more, we made a decision. Okay, we're gonna start Jaguar Heating and Air. And back in 2013, at the end of 2013, I got my license. So we started advertising actually in 2014. So technically, the business has been exist for about 12 years. So because I hit the market running back in, still remember, because my daughter born on the 3rd of December, and I had an exam with the California State License Board on the 3rd of December. So I called them and I said, I have a new baby coming in. Can I do the exam on the 20th? And the lady was super nice at the board. And I said, yeah, I totally understand. Let's do it on the 20th. Good luck with your baby. So she definitely made a blessing there. And the baby came in. And I got my license passed for the first time. Was super lucky. Wasn't an easy test.
Yeah.
Just let you know, it's about 6 hours, between 6 to 7 hours test.
Wow.
And wasn't easy, but we went through it, passed it. And 2014 January, we're definitely hit the ground running, start advertising a little bit, and we started the journey. That's how we started Jaguar.
And you just grown from there. Now I understand that you've won a couple of nice awards in the last year or so. Tell us a little bit about those. You went from 2014 starting to award winning.
Yes, that's part of the story actually. So in 2014, when we started, I still remember like nobody else knows us in town, of course, and started going to dealerships to buy equipment, and people kind of like didn't make fun of the name, but like I hear comments, oh, why didn't you call it Rolls Royce? Why didn't you call it? What is the Jaguar? And you're not going to be able to compete. And it's just tough market. And I said, yeah, I know that. I'm just going to be here just by myself and trying to do my best. 2026 now, today, we have, as you said, 30 technicians and about 25 installers. So probably one of the largest companies in Sacramento when it comes to the HVAC, commercial and residential we do. Lately, last month actually, we won the SMUD top contractor for 2025. So we did the most jobs for SMUD as a contractor.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. And that was a big deal actually. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Very big accomplishment. And I was so proud because I didn't do it myself. There was an army behind my back, from a service manager, from the install manager, from the warehouse manager. It's just It's a big deal because when you do 6 to 8 installs a day, and you have to run crews, and we're dealing with picking garbage from the site. We're dealing with delivering equipment to the site. You put 3 to 4 people on each site, dealing with the clients, make sure they have comfort of the same day. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. A lot of dispatching, a lot of programming, a lot of inventory issues, a lot of stuff that we come across on daily basis. But we had the system down and we made it. It was a dream.
Yeah.
Put it this way. Was a dream, but the dream came through. 100%.
Well, I would just say that it probably wasn't an accident. It's a lot of hard work. And to get to that top spot on ChatGPT, the way that those algorithms work is how many referrals have you and reviews have you gotten? So there's a whole platform of things that has to come together for that to have given me that referral for you. So, obviously you've done a really good job of taking care of clients, making sure that they were happy and satisfied. And then I understand that your wife is handling all of your social media and marketing.
She is.
So that's another testament to not just the service, but the way of telling your story.
Absolutely. So I would like to say thanks for all our partners, because again, like I didn't do it myself. It's a lot of partners. And I learned one thing. I partner with a company called Train, one of the best HVAC manufacturers in the industry. So start buying equipment from them. And in 2016, they said, you're doing pretty good. You should go to the factory and see. You're qualified to visit the factory in Texas, Tyler, Texas, actually. Still remember that day. Pretty nice. So we were taking a tour in the factory, and Amazon started actually getting popular back in the days, like 2016, like becoming the big deal, and the guy gave the tour guide in the factory said, Train were like Amazon. He gave an example, like Train, like Amazon. We have to keep up with technology. We have to keep up with things. A lot of people are under us, and if we don't keep learning and keep producing better products, he was referring to the products, producing better products, better technology, better comfort to our clients, people are going to catch up to us, and we're going to be actually forgetting, So I took that wording and just phrased it differently in our business. And since then, new technology, new marketing, new strategies, new financing options, new equipment, technologies, and more comfort into them, prices. I start opening more doors, and before a marketing agent calls, for example, just an example, like marketing agent, I said, no, I'm not interested. I always say, like, I'm not interested. Because I just put in a DOM in and basically assumed everybody's count. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not wasting my time. So the guy at Tyler, Texas, the tour guide, changed my mentality a bit, and I start hearing people. And because I got to my position where I am right now, and there are a lot of companies in our industry as HVAC business. It's a very competitive market, very saturated market, very, very saturated, especially in Sacramento. Sacramento has had very saturated market. However, if you count, just like what you did in ChatGPT, if you compare, which is a very scary number, by the way, if you compare the license of HVAC contractors, is more just in Sacramento region, just in the valley here, Sacramento region, more than 1,500 license. More. I don't exactly have the number, but it's more than 1,500. But when we did research, 2 or 3 companies came up on the ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. And ChatGPT is a very smart employee. Like he's very. It's what ChatGPT is. We all rely on technology nowadays.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it was interesting, and I started actually people calling in, and I started talking to them, and I turn a lot of people down. I'm not saying we contract and we make deals with everybody.
Sure.
But part of the success, when I make a decision, I have, people in the office I consult, like service manager, even sometimes technicians, like technicians say, what do you guys think? I bring things in the meeting. Like, what do you guys think? I have approached by so and so, and what do you guys think? Is it fit? And a lot of times they say, no, I don't think so. And some of the people say, yes, actually it's it. And sometimes your technicians give you ideas like, oh, you should call him back and tell him, let's do this way.
Yeah.
We had a meeting yesterday with an installation guy from here, from SAC, and he was referred by one of our technicians. He gave him a referral. He did a great job. And said, he told me, like, Mustafa, why you don't think, let's bring Bill in. Let's talk to him and see what we can work together, serve better communities. And so I said, okay, that sounds great. I didn't say no. I had busy morning, but I said, Mark, let's go ahead and book him in. I gave him a time, came into the office just right on time, and we talked. The guy was sharp. He brought a price book with him, price list, gave it to price list. We already implemented yesterday in our price book, So now it's win-win situation because we're helping customer not just with HVAC, but also we have another section for installation. Just an example.
Well, so we'll have to get him involved in our Give Value product.
Absolutely.
And so that we can stack it on top. It's
I recommend it.
That's awesome. You said Tyler, you visited that area of Texas.
Yes.
Actually, that's where a lot of my family is from, that area.
Love it.
Of Tyler.
Love it.
So
we went to steakhouse there. It's an amazing steakhouse. I forgot the name. Sorry about that.
Well, that's okay. There's a lot of really great steakhouses, but so a little bit about where I'm from, basically.
Sure.
East Texas.
Yeah.
As we talk to homeowners,
Sure.
One of our passions is making sure that we provide them with services ongoing, not just mortgages, but being able to refer them to people like yourself for all of their servicing needs. That's what the Give Value product is all about for us.
Trusted, fair prices, great service, the stuff that's important, so that you don't end up finding yourself.
It's very tough
in an environment, and I have my own horror experience on the HVAC of someone coming in and they did more damage than good to one of our houses at one point, and that's a big part of it. To not to interrupt your question, Buzz, but I think to really ask you a question, like you see the best and the worst of it, and I think you probably would. I'm sure avoid wanting to, throw anybody under the bus per se, but like there are some parts of the industry with the HVAC industry that can be scary for consumers when you deal with what's the right advice, what's the right product, what's the right approach to serving a unit, replacing a unit. When does it need to be replaced? When does it need to be repaired?
Yes.
When you look at what you've learned over the years in your experience, what do you think are some of the most common misconceptions and greatest problems that homeowners face around that is kind of the unspoken thing? Because when most homeowners go to buy a home, they think about a lot of things, and they do their home inspection and they look at the HVAC, but most of the time they're just hoping it passes so they can buy the home they've already decided they want to buy.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are some of those things that you think kind of surprise people, or that are the misconceptions?
Yes. What a great question. And I'm going to try my best to make it short, but there's a lot to talk about this segment, a lot, because we face it on daily basis. And I can give you examples for the past 12 years, but I'll try to make it short again. Yes, we do. We see, first of all, homes, HVAC. So just you have kitchen, you have HVAC, that's normal. People when buy homes, I do the both sides. When people sell their homes, sometimes they hire us to make a report, make sure the homeowner selling the house in very good condition when it comes to the HVAC, and probably they do the same thing with roofing, plumbing, stuff like that. And I do also get hired by people buying the home to make sure the HVAC in good condition before they buy it. Now, I do when people buy home, hire us. That's on the higher. I would say it's probably 70% people are buying homes. Call for an HVAC inspection. We have very thorough inspections. We support it with pictures and stuff like that, because the last thing I want to do is do an inspection and people rely on our expertise, if you would.
Yep.
They buy the home. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a month later, AC breakdown. By the way, you guys call us back like you guys fixed it. I mean, inspected. So what's going on, right?
Yep.
So we do very, very thorough inspection. At the end of the day, we're dealing. I just want to make this clear. We're dealing with machines, but for the most parts, our inspections and actually in the company we have delegated 2 to 3 guys, and we train them very well, to do those home inspections on the buyer side or the seller side. They get the same results, same inspections, but we go through the system in details, and we give every single recommendation that needs to be done. And one of them, my brother, I did an inspection for my brother just about maybe 4 months. If you're watching right now, I say, hi, my brother. I did an inspection for him, and he bought a home in the Thomas and was 20-some years old. And yes, you're right. I found problems in the AC. I said, this needs to be addressed, and was addressed with the seller. And the seller said very, very kindly, or for the seller said, yeah, I knew about those problems. We'll definitely negotiate the price and give you credit for you to go fix it. So that's on one side. So we do, just emphasize, we do very thorough inspections, whoever buying the home. And if somebody watching and they're buying a home, please, with us or with anybody else, please do an HVAC inspection. Very important. HVAC, I'm not going to say expensive, I'm not going to say cheap, but they are an item that is not you're buying every day. Like every 15 years, you're buying an HVAC system. So it's very important to make sure, and it's comfort. You're moving into a house, you want it to be comfortable in the house. So it doesn't matter winter or summertime. Like it's cold in the winter, it's hot in the summertime. Especially if you're buying with a family and you have kids or elderly people. Very important. Please, an advice from a pro, from HVAC technician pro. Please have somebody check the AC.
Get it checked.
Yes, get it checked is important.
Yeah,
it's very important. Now, as industry-wise, when it comes to us, for example, we have 3 type of refrigerants are in the market right now. 3 types of systems, 3 types of refrigerant, and you cannot mix match. Just an example, like if, for example, we have an R22 refrigerant, we have R14A. When the new one just released last year was the R454B. Now we have three types of refrigerant, and sometimes, to answer your question, we find okay, it's R22 outside, but they replace the unit inside with R14A, and we know it's not going to work.
It just won't work.
Just by looking at it, it's not going to work. Maybe turn the switch on to the home inspector. Like home inspectors, usually they come in. People always hire home inspector, but home inspector, if they find something wrong with the AC or the temperature difference is not accurate, is not in range, and the range should be between 15 to 20. So they find 14 or 12 or 10. They write on the reports, refer to an HVAC pro.
Yeah.
And sometimes people refer to that and really they address it. And sometimes people let it go. The system is working. I heard the AC working. I heard the furnace.
I feel
heat.
Coming
I feel
out.
cold air.
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly. For a little bit of maybe 10, 15 minutes that you spend in the house before when you meet with your agent, right? With the agent. So, but we know as a pros, like we know that the system probably going to take about 30 minutes to freeze. Just an example. We know if there's a crack in the heat exchanger furnaces, and that's another part. We're talking about the AC now. We switch to the heat a little bit because we deal with natural gas, and sometimes you have crack. We inspect. We call it safety inspection. In our report, we do a safety inspection as well to make sure the furnaces are running in good condition. That's the last thing you want. Somebody move in, turn the heater on, and you have a carbon monoxide leak into the house. So it's very red line.
Yeah,
we don't mess with that. So it's important. If you're moving to your house or a gas leak.
Yeah.
Safety
you go in the
hazards
attic.
beyond belief. Yeah.
You don't believe how many times I went to the attics and smell gas. Like, this is something wrong in here. And I bubble the joints. Like, oh, this is a gas leak right here.
Yeah.
You've been very lucky. And the attic was content with gases. And I go down to the homeowner. What you've done good in your life? I tell the homeowner, like, all the time, like, what you've done good in your life. And people start, oh, I helped. Yes, I know you did. I know you did, because there was a gas leak. There was a gas leak in the attic.
Nothing
you have
awful
not
has
blown
happened.
up.
Yes, and your house is still standing. Or sometimes, do you feel headache? I tell my customer, like, do you feel headache? Say, yeah, sometimes. Actually, that started last year. And yeah, you're right, because you have a crack in the heat exchanger. And the good thing about this, yes, we found a problem, but the good thing about the problem, you're still alive. And unfortunately, sometimes, like, people, I hear stories and I watch on the news, either, sometimes like a house burn and with lack of maintenance, or people, die, unfortunately, so it is a serious issue.
Yeah.
But when people buy a house, that's why I say, please get the house checked. Get the house checked. It's important. It's very important. And this is actually, you're right. You have some stories to tell. I have probably, when it comes to HVAC, way more. But I'll conclude with this. There's a local company here in Sacramento. There, about a month ago, their sales guy said it's a crack heat exchanger, and the heat exchanger is just that basically where the fire goes inside the furnace, and where the carbon monoxide sits, right? So if you have a breach in the heat exchanger, the air will come on and move the carbon monoxide into the house, because you have a crack and you have a breach into it, and it's going to seep into the chamber. So the guy, unfortunately, wasn't honest, and we found it the hard way. He tried to sell a system. Not always the system needs to be sold is sold. So he scared the homeowner, and the house I believe in West Sacramento. He scared the homeowner, said, you have a crack in the heat exchanger. This system needs to be replaced immediately. Immediately. How much is it? About thousands of dollars. We're talking about thousands of dollars. And the homeowner called somebody else. He trusted the technician who came out. So he called somebody else, got bids, and somebody else replaced the furnace for a cheaper price. And the homeowner was like, he was a Marine, very smart guy, very sharp. And said, okay, as soon as the furnace is outside, the old furnace, the job is done, the new furnace is in place, the old furnace is out in the yard. And he told the other contractor, he said, hey, by the way, can you please make sure there's a crack in the heat exchanger? Because the other guy told me, I just want to see it. He was just curious, not doubting. Mm-hmm. Very important. This is like a gray line right here. So he was just, trying to see
educationally wanting to just understand it.
I'm curious. Like, he showed me pictures, but I just want to see it in person. As soon as the furnace is in the yard, and the other contractor took it apart, and he said, no, there's no crack in the exchanger. He said, what do you mean? I just spent thousands of dollars on replacing the system, and there was no crack in the heat exchanger? I've been lied to. The other contractor said, yeah, this is because the other contractor came for an estimate. He gave him a better deal and got it replaced. So he called that company back and said, hey, your salesman probably showed me pictures from somewhere else, because I don't see any cracks in here.
Wow.
And it went south really, really bad.
Yeah, so, I would imagine.
And unfortunately. So
and see, that's the part I think that's interesting, as both a consumer. Like, I'm the son of a self-employed father who, ran a business for 30 years.
Yeah.
And my mother, just like you and your wife, ran the books and kept things together. And it was a relational business. And trust is so important, right? Like, people,
Absolutely.
And I think the hard part when you look at what you guys do with HVACs, there's so much expense to it, and there's so little knowledge about what's what, and you're dealing, like you said, with this the health and safety and potential catastrophic level risk if 100%. You don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of thing that can put a lot of fear into people's places, and where that being taken advantage of
Yep.
can become very scary, where people, well, does it really need to be replaced, or does it just need to be patched, or can we do this and that fixes that, versus, and trust is the most important thing. And we talk about it a lot on the lending side, like trust and building and establishing value and a relationship that says, like, look, I'm looking out for your best interest.
Yes.
And I'm not going to ask you to spend $1 that I wouldn't spend myself.
Absolutely.
For the benefit of my family. And I think it's a really hard, like you said, when there's over 1,500, there's the 15,000, whatever the number you just said, which is staggering.
Yep.
Like, how do you, finding that level of trust that the person that I'm getting this information from is going to tell me the truth about what I need to spend money on to keep my family safe, to keep my children safe. I got 3 little kids and a wife. If something ever happened to them, my world's over, right? So like as a provider, I'm gonna err on the side of caution, but that's also where people can get taken advantage of.
100%.
And
100%.
And so to have someone like yourself with the integrity and the respect, that takes being willing to challenge some of the norms. How do you, when you see the industry, where do you see some of the biggest areas of confusion in it? Because like we were talking before the show, I've been in houses with patchwork, HVAC units that, like, you can tell a GC came in and did their thing and put 3 units together and it worked.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, it's working. We're not replacing it yet.
Yes.
But I'm scared to death about when and where this is going to go wrong.
Right.
And then you've got obviously a lot of the new homes where they have very different systems. And what is the, like, your advice to a homeowner, not only to inspect it, but what are the areas that they should be most concerned with looking for in their units? I mean, we all know if the house is 95 and it should be 70, we know there's a problem.
Yes.
If the house is 62 and I want it to be 75, I got a problem.
Absolutely.
But the gas leaks, the other things, having drippage and leaking in areas where it shouldn't be. Talk to us about some of the things like that you see. I'm curious, just because I've got my own experience, but I think I'd love to hear your expertise, because I think a lot of homeowners could use that insight.
Absolutely. Definitely a great message for the homeowners. Great question. My recommendation, just like what Buzz did, he hired in 3 seconds. He said, find me the best HVAC company in Sacramento. 3 seconds. Best HVAC. So ChatGPT will probably search the best, and social media nowadays, if you do good, will show up.
That's right.
If you do bad, unfortunately, going to show up more.
This is true. Bad news spreads faster than good.
Yes, exactly. 100%. So my advice to homeowners, not just do a good search on the contractor you're going to hire, and probably that applies to all home services in general, but maybe the HVAC, I would say, in my opinion, probably one of the most important ones, because you're dealing with comfort and safety. Comfort is important, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't know they have an AC until it breaks down. So, no, my AC break down. Like, I need service today. What do you mean? I'm booked. I need it today.
Yeah.
So my advice to most homeowners, maybe one visit in the summertime, maybe one visit in the wintertime, just to make sure we're good to go, or even just once a year, just to get a history.
Preemptive.
You guys call this a tune-up, right?
A tune-up or membership,
And what do you do? What is this tune-up or membership? So your technician shows up at my house.
Yes.
What do they do? Do they clean the coil? I don't know. What do they do?
So every company has different procedure on memberships and different procedures on tune-ups. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to back up just a little bit. One of the problems with home services, there's no retail store to know how much this cost, and because every company is making their own policies and or prices, and you know, they figure out their margins and stuff.
Margins and pricing.
So not like, you know, you go to a store and you know how much this item cost, and the labor is different from company to company. So that's just one thing I wanted to mention. The tune-ups, we mainly, I'm going to talk because we have two tune-ups, two parts right now, one AC, one heat, right? Okay. So I'm going to start with the AC because today is March, and we're
heading into that time of the year.
Next month is going to be hot. I think it's going to be hot next week too. So people are going to start, we're already getting service calls on the AC, so people are going to start calling for tune-ups on their AC. Our members, by the way, we have 30,000 customers on our database, and we have about 4,000 members with us.
Wow.
So and every year, usually the number increases. So when we go on a maintenance call, AC maintenance call, the first thing, we have something called gauges. You know, it's our toys. You know, our tools. We call them toys. And we throw the gauges on the equipment and run it for 10, 15 minutes just to make sure, you know, the compressor, for example, is not overheating. We have refrigerant. First of all, we would like to know if the system running or not. Number one.
Good starting point.
Good start. Throw the gauges on, turn the system on. Let's see what we're gonna do. That's number one thing we do. So now, the system. Let's say the system works and we have the gauges on. We have standards. We have charts. You know, we follow. That comes from factory. From factory says the number for this item should be this much. And they give you a range, for example, 10 to 12, 14, 15, 16. And we follow our chart. And if the numbers doesn't match with our chart, now, okay, we need to know why.
You need to start digging in.
And there are many things, like, okay, we check the filter. Most likely people grading to the homeowners, but they forget to change their filters. Please change your filter. That's important on the tune-up. You know, if it's hard to reach, please buy a filter, make it ready for us to change it for you. No extra charge. That's just part of the job. But the filter is very important. So the first thing, we start with the filter. If the numbers, and we call them pressures and temperatures and stuff, if the numbers are not applied and is not adding up, then okay, let's go inside and see what's going on. So based on the numbers, we start digging. And filters, unfortunately, most of the time,
a lot of times it's filters.
A lot of times. I'm guilty on my house.
I've pulled a couple of mine out and gone, wow.
Yes. Exactly.
Wondering how air was actually getting through.
I breathe that.
Exactly.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's and especially nowadays on old units, probably forgiven a little bit on the filter restrictions. But on the new units, like I'm talking about 10 in the past 10 years and until today, and the more technology is, the more new units are more sensitive, better warranty. And a lot of people don't understand that, unfortunately. Better warranty, yes, you get better warranty, but you got a more protective system. So the manufacturers start getting very smart by having a lot of sensors, a lot of T5, T4, T6 sensors. If the pressure is dropped down, I'm gonna shut off the unit down.
It doesn't blow up.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't blow up the compressor. Compressor is expensive repair. I'm not gonna let you do it. You know, so you have to call basically a technician to check it out. So there are a lot of many things we check through our list, but we start basic and throw the gauges on. We check something called temperature and something called amperage, something called voltage. Make sure the right voltage comes to the unit, for example. And most of the ACs are 240 volt for the residential. And on a one-phase circuit, if it's 190, we have a problem. You know, either called SMUD or we have a problem with the service disconnect. That's when it comes to the AC. Part of the tune-up also, we wash the outside coil because we know as technicians. Sometimes you say, oh, my unit is fine. Okay, we'll pull a hose out and hose it off with water, and you'll see how much dirt coming out of it with water. You know, actually, this is not. It started with water. Now we have cappuccino on the ground. You know, it's like so.
So the coils are operate kind of like the radiator on a car, right?
That's exactly it.
So the coolant goes through these coils.
Yes.
To cool off.
Yes.
And if there's all this dirt in there,
Yes.
then it doesn't breathe properly or it doesn't cool properly. That basic.
That's 100% correct.
Okay.
And sometimes I just give examples like a chicken wire. As I tell people, like, it's a chicken wire. Imagine there's a chicken wire and the air, goes from one side to the other side. And if you put a blanket on the chicken wire from one side, the air is not going to go in. And the air is very important for your system to work because the fan is supposed to pull air in, boil the refrigerant, and goes out. And if you have restricted coil, not just the efficiency goes down, but also affecting the compressor because compressor is now going to overheat.
Yeah.
Now we have failure of condenser
extra
fan
hard.
motor. You have a capacitor goes out, and just on and on.
And one thing leads to a series of a whole bunch of other problems.
Yeah. Just give me an example. Happened not too long ago. Was an little bit older unit. Had a loose wire on it, and loose wire came from overheating. Compressor, the coil was dirty, compressor was old, condenser fan wasn't spinning right. So a combination of things, but to start with the coil dirty, and the wire got melted. So because you have connectors, and they can just connect through connectors, and the connector got melted, wire got melted. Wire has live voltage, touched the metal on the unit inside, burned the compressor, and now we went from $69 to Nepal could be avoided to very expensive repair because the compressor is out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they don't make that part. I call the dealer, they don't make that part.
It's
part,
old.
exactly. He said it's obsolete. It's not worth it for me to put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe a little bit different of a subject. I've been hearing all of these, especially here in California, all this news about getting rid of gas equipment.
Correct.
Heat pumps. Yeah. Talk a little bit about, is that really going to happen to where everything's going to be electric, or what's the story there?
Great question. I get asked that a lot of questions about this exact subject and in different matters. But yes, so if we get a little bit into it, we all heard something called global warming.
Sure.
Global warming. So I think California, in my opinion, is doing a great job helping the global warming. And I had two types of customers. People say no. People say yes. People will with the change from gas to fully electric systems. And very small portion, they say no. I'll keep my gas. I like my gas. I'll keep my gas. We know gas prices are going up, unfortunately, and that's very common complaints on daily basis in the wintertime. People call us for high gas bill.
High gas bills, yeah.
My last year gas bill was $300. Now it's $600. Something wrong with my AC, something wrong with my heater, something wrong with my gas furnace.
Just the rates.
Yes, just the rates, right? And so the gas is, and this is unfortunately not just in California, it's nationwide problem. Everywhere in the world, the gas is going up. So we'll start there. Now, when it comes to global warming, in the past, they did a summary, and in the past 10 years, it's an average of half a degree or to a degree, basically go up. So if you take, for example, a mild day in the summertime, let's say it's 95 degrees, and a hot day in the summertime, 104, 105, and you mix it, divide by 2, you get an average. So they found actually in the past 10 years, in average, the degrees are going about between half to 1 a year. So yes, we don't have a problem today, but they're thinking about what is going to happen 30 years from today.
Well, I got to be honest. I remember playing baseball in about 110, 112. So
Yes.
104 seems like mild to me.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's hot.
Yes.
But that's 112. Also going to go up more.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
people are blaming us, not us, just like the HVAC, that the gas furnaces are, pollutant, and usually you
Further
burn
in the
gases.
cause.
Yeah, you're burning gas, fossil fuel. You burn the gas. You have heat in your house, and basically the rest goes through a flue pipe. We call a flue pipe, goes through the roof, and go to the air, and that's where the ozone layer are going to be affected. And for same thing with cars, same thing with water heaters.
Sure.
So the change is in 2029. By the end of 2029. In California, until today, the law is there. Until today, in California, they will ban the gas furnaces. So there is no more gas furnaces production. And I'm trying to clear that up because there's no more gas furnace production into California. That doesn't apply to the rest of the states. I think Washington with California, Washington, Seattle. And but that also doesn't mean we're not going to be working on gas furnaces. We are going to work on gas furnaces, but we cannot install them like a brand new install. If you have in your house a gas furnace.
So a new home
would have to be
after
electric.
that year is going to all be electric, and anything that. So if my old furnace blows up,
Correct.
and I have to come to you and
Change
say,
it, yes.
"Hey man, we need a whole new system." After that date, it's going to be electric.
Yes. Comment on the new homes. The plans actually it's called 2022 code. Any house was built after 2022, it's already doing water heater. They're doing new heat pump systems, and that's already exists.
Trying to drive them with the solar, solar panels, and
that's
and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a question for you on this because I've always found this to be an interesting question, and I've gotten conflicting information over the years, and this can be two-part. So the gas units and the electric units. I've been told for years varying answers about how long a well-maintained, properly treated unit should last a home. And you mentioned 15 years just a minute ago. I've heard 30 years. I've heard 10 years. I've heard 20. And in most cases, I'm like, well, pretty much to me seems like how well do you maintain and take care of that unit as to whether or not. So my first question is, what is your realistic expectation of what a unit should last a home in general? And is there any difference between the gas ones and the electric ones?
Thank you. Okay. So start with well-maintained. Yes. I remember, very important, when they design engines and cars, they design them for hours. Same thing comes to HVAC. So you might have the same unit. I might have the same unit as you are in your house, in my house, exact same unit. But it depends on the usage, depends on the maintenance. My unit will last more than yours, or yours will last more than mine if you do a better job on cleaning.
I like my house at 62 degrees, so I'm running it 24/7, and you run it at
yes, cold. Jackets. I buy good jackets, and so that's just definitely an answer right there. And I'm going to give you an average industry average. I've seen anywhere from 15 to 20.
15 to 20.
The systems last for between 15 to 20, and again, depends on the usage, depends on the consumer. I have replaced systems before in 25, 30, 35 years, But keep in mind, like when it comes to a 25 years old system or 30 years old system, yes, the system was running, because I hear that we're there before the replacement and we're there after the replacement, and we're doing the maintenance later on, right? So I see it all. Like, we've been servicing this unit when I replaced a part and then replaced the unit and then did a new unit, and people are happy with it, and then there was a maintenance on it. So it kind of like a series of things, and I just watch, right?
Yep.
So and I have the pleasure because this is my job, right? So definitely you're getting the right answers here, and 25 years of system, it's working. Yes, it's cooling, but it doesn't mean it's working well, right? And when you have the 25 years old system, you had it for an hour or two to cool your house. Now with the new system, you're cooling it off in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. We're dropping about an hour, and this is called efficiency.
Yeah.
So we just changed it.
So the efficiency, cheaper to run.
Yes.
Gets cooler quicker.
Correct.
All of those kinds of things.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So an example, I was talking to one of the factories, tech support actually came to the office a couple of days ago. And he said, it's so weird. I took my old unit out and put a new system in with new technology. And of course, nowadays heat pumps are equipped with a lot of sensors, and they're very high-end units. And he said, I dropped my bill about $400. And I hear that comment. That's from technical support guy. He works for the factory. And I hear the same exact comment from a lot of my customers. Man, I wish did that unit with you guys a long time ago.
Yeah.
I wished replaced that system 40 years ago. I would. So
Well, a 400 drop on your bill every month.
Yes. That's a lot.
Pays for that unit pretty damn quick.
Yes.
Yep.
I sold a unit in Orangeville about she left us, thank you so much, by the way. Her name Ryan. She left us very well reviewed online on Google. And she said she was getting bids and stuff. So I said, how much your bill? And usually when I don't go on a lot of sales calls, but sometimes we have technicians down or calling sick or, commitment with families and stuff. So I cover also because my background is technician as we start first, right? So I cover. So I went to an estimate and she said my bill is, I asked politely, I said, can I, and usually I do this with every customer. I said, can I see your bills? And PG&E and SMUD and I put them together next to each other and say how much the furnace costing you. I do a little analysis just by looking at the bill and get the homeowner also involved. Yeah, and we find out it's an interesting subject. Like people don't know how much they're spending until they look at their bills.
Yep.
So, because I'm trying to help them out also, not just with the new system, but my system should make sense. Should make sense to them, And I said, Ryan, you're going to get this system for free. She looked at me and said, no, I don't think so. I said, yeah, your bill here, $600 from PG&E. Actually, it was $690. I remember still, $690. And I said, this is a gas. If we do a heat pump, SMUD has a little cheaper rates, and it's gonna be an efficient unit, and we're gonna change the ductwork. Ductwork is definitely consuming a lot of energy in here. So she said, okay. I said, you're a normal average home, because we work in Orangeville a lot, and I said between $200 to $300. That's your average home. Says, really? I said, yes. I'm wondering why PG&E send me all the time letter in the mail saying you're way higher than your neighbors. Mm-hmm. She said. I said, yeah, that exactly.
That's why.
Yeah, that's why. And we will definitely. She said, okay, but you said free. How? I said, okay, you will finance this job, and your payment is going to be, I'm going to work with you. Your payment is going to be exactly $219.60. I still remember, $219 a month. You're getting a new AC, no more repairs, no more headache, and you have good warranty on it. And I'm going to save it from the bill. She stood a second here like, you're right. If I drop my bill from $600 to $300, I'm actually getting a system for free. Yeah. And instead of paying, you're paying one person, you're paying two people.
You're paying two
and
people,
I've done
but you've done it
thousands of times before.
Yeah.
So. And that's the question I was going to ask you next is like the financing. But I think what scares people into avoiding having the conversation, right, is the fear of the cost of the replacement, right? I know I just had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and older, and they just rattled off, oh God, if I have to replace my unit, it's going to cost me $50,000, and like I just don't have $50,000 right now, and there was a whole kind of like ordeal around I can't afford to replace my unit.
Right.
And I know there's programs out there and there's different things, but I would love to hear, kind of your take on, so for the average homeowner, what are some of the ways that they can approach from the financial perspective, this is your maintenance, this is your bill, like that they can approach financing, doing what's right and best for their home, as opposed to just thinking, oh, I have to somehow just have $20, $30, $40,000 sitting around ready to handle
Yep.
something that I can't produce.
100%. So HVAC repairs and replacements, in our industry, we call them emergency tickets, we call them. Because your AC was working yesterday, today you need to be replaced, right? So, and people, HVAC is not like you're going to put in college. So you save for 15 years for the kid to go in college. And I'm putting $300 to save for my AC. No, nobody does that.
Yeah.
No,
It's just nobody does that. It's just the truth, right?
Absolutely.
Again, like I said in the beginning, people don't know they have AC until it stops. It's hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So it's in finance. We did over $1.5 million in financing last year. And back to the retail. There's no retail for the HVAC market. And unfortunate, I'm hearing this number 50,000, but unfortunate is true. It's truth. Like there are companies are pitching system for $50,000, and poor homeowners they really. There's no chart for them to follow, like how much my AC should be and why I should trust this guy and stuff. So we opened, as you mentioned earlier, a showroom in the downtown of Sacramento area. And I picked downtown just because it's kind of like centralized. We have people come from Davis, we have people come from Roseville, and we have people actually come from Folsom and Dorado Hills areas, right? So they come. We have over probably 10 systems working in our showroom, and we have probably 200-300 systems are not working, like in the warehouse. And we kind of like we take them on a educational tour when they come to the showroom. First, we have many brands, as you saw.
Yeah,
in the showroom.
It was a great showroom.
Yeah, and we're one of the probably the only one I would if I don't know anybody else have a showroom in Sacramento. And excuse me if there is, but I don't know about it. But I think we have the best and the finest showroom in the area, and probably in California if I would. And I hear good feedback from reps comes from factories and technical support, and this is great. So we created for our customers and also our technicians to be trained on. That's number one. I would love people to come to the showroom, see the unit first. We say there's no obligation. See the unit, ride it, try it, hear it, feel it, touch it, and then we can discuss about prices and then finance come into place. So we partner with one of the best companies, and we have more than 3-4 vendors, and the vendors we deal with when it comes to finance are the best in the industry, in our industry. Credit score, we take into consideration. We take into consideration how quick, very important, how quick we can do the job. We take into consideration when it comes to finance, how easy to do the job. And it fits all ages. Keep in mind, I deal with 20 years old and I deal with 90 years old. So 20 years old needs financing because it's emergency repair. 90 years old sometimes needs financing as well.
So this financing comes from, is it factory financing type of deal or
supported with factory? We partner with Train and we partner with Wells Fargo. So it's kind of like a three-way combination.
Okay.
Jaguar is the provider and to the end consumer, which is our clients and homes. And Wells Fargo with the support from Train, they give us a great rate to reflect it on our customers. So that also helps with the total cost of the HVAC when people buy HVAC. First, we have a certification we provide with every single estimate, and actually we have the best price guarantee. We call them best price guarantee. So
Right.
we certify every unit gets sold. We certify it with the certifications in writing and glossy paper, nice. We put it with the estimate, and that just because sometimes yes people like us and everything and trust us is very important, Because if I don't trust you, I don't buy from you. That type of deal,
Sure.
right? So trust is very important. So we gain the trust by walking to the door. Number one. Number two, it's very important to provide them. Now they trust us. We have to be trustworthy and give them also the best installation practice. Get it done quick. Give them the best price. Give them the best unit. It's very important. Yeah. So it's like kind of like a blender
for their house.
Yeah, it's a blender, and we design the right house, the right unit, the right size. It qualifies for SMUD and Roseville rebates and whatever rebates available from factories and from ourselves and stuff. And then when it comes to finance, we have to provide also. So it's the best. So when it comes to Jaguar, like everything has to be top notch. And that's exactly amazing. How we stop.
Yeah.
We basically, we stand up tall between a lot of other contractors.
So
it's amazing.
And that's awesome. And I think that's something that, as part of our program, we want to make sure that we get all of that out there to our consumers, to our databases. And I think it's going to be a great partnership. Let me ask you a couple of little things, like, you see, you go to Best Buy, you go to Costco, you go to any Home Depot, it's all the craze to get your new thermostat.
Yep.
You can control them with your phone.
Yes.
You can set them. My house, I live downtown. My house was built in 1919, and I think that probably the thermostat on the wall is from probably 1920. So I've been thinking about getting one of these newfangled thermostats.
Absolutely.
How hard are those to install? Is that something that if I called you guys, you would say, absolutely, let us come out there because there's a whole bunch of wires? Or is it like one wire? Or I don't know.
Good question. So thermostats, yes, there are many brands, of course.
Sure.
And there are many ways to hook them up, if you would. But there's one way to replace the thermostat. And I give a recommendation here. If you're going to replace the thermostat, please turn the power to the indoor unit first. That's probably a key, because you don't know how many times, hundreds, maybe thousands of times, people tried. It's not hard. I'm not saying hard, but tried to replace the thermostat, and they shorting the wire, and they shorting a transformer in the attic or a circuit board, and it could cost them, a little bit of money, and I'm trying to avoid that. So please, if you're going to replace your thermostat yourself, it's easy to do. Probably, for people are handy, a little bit easier, but in general, like just an advice in general, turn the power off on the indoor unit.
Go turn the breaker off.
You can turn the breaker off, but just remember to turn it back on.
Turn it back on.
It's very important. Don't turn the fridge breaker off, because that's happened before too, and the food went bad.
Yeah, I can't figure out why it's not working anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to flip the switch.
Yeah.
So if someone was part of a membership with you, or
Correct.
asked you to come out and do a inspection or whatever,
Sure.
that could be something that they've bought a really nice
Yes.
thermostat, and you guys could put that in.
We'll help them out for sure. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Good deeds, yeah.
I see a lot of nowadays people are building all sorts of accessory dwellings in their backyard,
Yes.
mother-in-law's quarters, those kinds of things. They call them ADUs in our industry.
Correct.
And they're using a lot of what I'm hearing, split units, where it's a unit up on the wall, but there's also a unit outside. Those are getting to be much more popular today. I'm seeing.
They are. It's a big market everywhere, in the world, but wasn't in let's say in the United States in general. It started probably 6-7 years ago when the rates of the electricity started going up, and we start having alternatives, like what are we going to do, high efficiency units and stuff. So the ADU garages, I'm going to add garages into your thing, and people start getting permits to build ADU, and ADU is usually smaller than the house.
Right.
And start at 200 square feet, ADUs, 300, 400. I've seen 1,000 ADU. And now you cannot really use or tap to the existing HVAC because keep in mind everything is designed for a size. Now, and in the circuits of the ADU, like the electrical circuit has to be also counted for. So we meant to give them, they call them mini splits. Mini splits.
Yeah.
And the mini splits is one outdoor unit, and usually we put either one or two indoors on the walls. So there's no decks involved. And part of the mini splits, the indoor units get powered from the outdoor. So sometimes you have 3 units in total on one 20 amp circuit or 15 amp circuit.
Wow.
So they're very efficient, and they're meant to be like, okay, they're variable speed compressors, so they can work as a 2-ton, they can work as like 1.5, 1. So they have a variety of speeds. The compressor technology is made to be accommodating that space, the variable, the ADUs, and also garages. After COVID, we had a lot of people surge. I'm working from home. I need a mini split in my garage, and mini split usually are like the condensers, which is the outdoor units, are tiny, smaller spaces. It can be hanging on the wall.
Right.
I've done hundreds, maybe thousands of these units.
Yeah, I see more and more
Yes.
of these being utilized for tiny homes.
Absolutely.
For ADUs.
Yes.
Even, of course, and you mentioned all across the world. I have this fascination with property outside the United States. I like searching real estate,
Sure.
and you see that in a lot of countries.
Yes.
That's what they use instead of central,
Absolutely.
big units.
Yes.
They advertise. Oh yeah, it's got the mini split.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, a lot of those countries don't have a lot of air conditioning.
Absolutely. Yep.
But they have a lot of fans.
Yep. The cool thing about those mini split is like if you put an outside unit, they call them a multi-zone, and in fact, people like even on larger homes. We just did one in Slow House actually. We finished it yesterday. So the guy came to the showroom and he said, "I need one unit outside." He already did his research. He said, "I'm tired paying so much money on utility bills, and I would like to have a unit outside." He kind of like came up with his own design, but we helped him out to formalize it, and put it on paper. So he said, "I want 1 unit outside, and I want 5 units inside." So okay, we've done that before, but that's very smart of him. Usually we recommend that, but in this case, no. He wanted to get this done, and said, "Okay, no problem." And we got a unit outside. They call them multi-zone, so you have multi-ports. And now he has, instead of 1 thermostat, he has 5 thermostat in his house. And what he did, he divided his house, 2,500 square feet, to 5 different zones. So you can zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. And sometimes we go over and like basically go extreme and name them zone 1. What do you want to call it? And call it like my kid bedroom, for example. The zone 2, the master. So we can divide the house to multi zones. And the best way I explain to my clients is I say, how many, like just sometimes like joke with them, like how many bathrooms you have? Like 3 bathrooms. How many sinks? I have 5 sinks. Okay. When you wash your face, you go, how many bathrooms you go? How many sinks do you use? How many water faucets you use? And they look at it, are you crazy? What are you talking about? Like I wash my face in under 1 faucet. And so, okay, that's exactly what the variable speed do. When central heat and air, you turn it on, it's actually cool and heat the whole entire house. The 5 faucets comes on at the same time. But in reality, you're sitting just in one area. And it's, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good, okay.
Well, and that's exactly what you see a lot of, especially older people. This is what happens. They had the big house.
Yes.
They had 3, 4, 5 kids.
Right.
So they had 5 bedrooms and a den and a living room and formal dining room. And they have all this room.
Right.
The kids graduate. They go off to college. They leave. So now it's just mom and dad. They've got this 4,000 square foot home.
Yes.
And they start turning off the vents and closing the doors. But a lot of times that's counterintuitive
Yes.
because of the way that the system works. it's supposed to flow through the house.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden they've got things cut off. And so a lot of times that's more inefficient. A unit or a setup like what you're talking about would be much more efficient because they're not trying to heat or cool those other areas and or worried about the flow of the house when they close off that wing.
Correct. 100%. So that that's actually happens a lot.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. And we go and check the vents and say, why is this closed? Oh, I don't want to waste energy. Okay, so but the system is designed for this house. It's a big system. Actually closing the vent is not gonna do any better. Actually we deal with something called static. So static goes up and go down and affecting the blower motor because that back pressure on the blower motor, and now we have some problems with the coil, and we deal with positive and negative pressures. And it's not a good recommendation. Like you're absolutely correct. And we recommend maybe one vent in the whole entire house, but we've seen 6-7 vents, like the whole entire upstairs is closed down. Like, no, please open it up. Please open it. It's nothing to do with the energy. It's not gonna save you any energy because the blower, the machine actually now
It's working
different, working harder to push the air out, and we're creating more problems than you think is going to solve it. So if somebody watching us and they have closed vents, we recommend once in the house, please go open it up. And if you're having hot or cold spots, which is another common things in our industry, we have a lot of solutions for that. A lot of solutions. Damper at the plenum. We can redo some deck design. This is called comfort. So again, that's part of the tune-up. We ask people.
That's nice.
Do you have in summertime? Do you have rooms are usually hotter than others or colder than others? Yeah, this room very cold, and we know it because the furnace is just on top of it, and the air is going right into it, and the deck wasn't designed correctly. So by small repair, putting just a damper on the deck, you'll be fixing that problem and affecting other problems. Basically solving other problems somewhere else.
Other parts of the house are I can't go there during the daytime because it's about 100 degrees.
Very
even
common.
if the house is 72.
Yes.
This room it's about 95.
Yes. Exactly. So
that's
very common.
That's awesome. That's
This has been so educational. I can't even tell you how much I've enjoyed hearing.
Thanks so much for having me today. Seriously, I really enjoyed it. I feel like we're in Sacramento we're doing an excellent job for our clients, but the more people know about things, I would love watch a show from you guys with a roofer or a plumber. I would love to see, because I own a house, right? You own a house. Right? I would love to see what they think and what they say about, like, how can I take care of what is the missing Lego in here, and I can put it all together, like help them out.
That's exactly what we're looking to do. We had a property manager a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Chris, come on. Yeah.
And of course I own some rental properties, and he started talking. I'm going, oh no, I better talk to this guy because it was so interesting to hear those things, and just like with needing a roofer.
Absolutely.
So it's been really interesting to hear your perspective, and I know there's going to be a lot of people interested. Just one question. How do people get in touch with you? Just Jaguar Heating and Air Conditioning?
JaguarHeatingAir.com or Jaguar Heating Air on Google or any other social media. We have our phone numbers listed on all the social media. And I picked the Jaguar name, so just easier to remember.
Yeah.
Easy to remember. Jaguar Heating and Air. That's it.
I love the logo and that kind of stuff.
We'll make sure to have it in the comments section below here in the description for our audience on YouTube here. Definitely go check them out. And I am inspired by hearing it. My biggest thing has always been in life educating without the intent of making a sale, right? We all are better served when we know what we're hearing is for the purpose of education.
Sure.
And we aren't conflicted by the idea that, someone's trying to make a sale on me right now, because that makes the information harder to consume. Yes. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't do any research about their AC unit
100%.
or their HVAC, plans
Yes.
until the issue hits, and now they're relying upon the random person that they called or the company with zero plan, zero prep,
Yep.
trying to make a decision, and they have done no homework leading into
Yep.
that. And I think this is just incredibly informative, and I'm so grateful for not only what you guys are doing, commend you on your success.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
It's true success story.
Thank you so much.
And we're excited to partner with you with our Give Value program. We this week in the market.
I'm going to give us the update.
Oh man, a week ago we'd been seeing some really good improvements in interest rates, and then the conflict in Iran.
Yes.
Instability. The real question is about oil.
Yes.
Oil was at all-time lows. Well, I can't say all-time lows. Recent all-time lows.
Yes.
And just in the last week, it has gone up $20, $30.
$92 a day.
Yeah.
Today, $92 a barrel.
It's going crazy just for the instability, and the problem is the Persian Gulf.
Yes.
And the transportation of that oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
Hormuz, yes.
Hormuz,
yeah.
And so obviously the United States is saying we're going to protect that, but there's still a lot of fear. Everybody's kind of sitting back going, I'm not moving my oil. I'm not, taking my ship through there till we're for sure. And so a lot of people are saying, this instability is going to be short-lived. Mm-hmm. We're going to figure this out. But right now it's all about oil prices, and oil prices affect inflation.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we've been trying to do is get inflation down so that we can improve interest rates. Mm-hmm. But that's counterintuitive right now. And so what we're seeing is this week, just about every day, interest rates have gotten worse. And now it's not like we're going back to 2 or 3 years, but we've definitely lost some of the ground that we gained over the last 2 months. Yeah. So we are definitely ending the week with worse interest rates than what we started. And we do think that we'll see some rebound as the markets settle down and everybody figures out what's going to happen with the delivery of the oil. So far, there's not been any oil fields that have been disrupted. Mm-hmm. Everybody kind of stays away from that. So the oil fields haven't been disruptive. It's the transportation, getting it out of the Middle East. Yep. And so as they figure that out, everybody feels like all the technicals are there that oil and crude prices will drop back down to where they were. So that's what we're watching right now. Just to tell you, next week we see some inflation numbers with the PCE, personal consumption reports. So stay tuned. I think that we'll see some rebound as the fear and the instability starts to get better. So
yeah, that's actually somebody asked yesterday, because most of the HVAC units are coming from overseas, and a lot of them are manufactured here, but even the manufacturing in the United States rely on parts from overseas. So I don't know what's going to happen, but a lot of vendors, we don't have any price increase. They just raise prices on us, the vendors and the manufacturers. They just raise prices on us actually by February 15th, unfortunately. But we're still talking to them. They don't know very confidently that the price is going to go up. They're projecting probably if the shipment cannot get here and they have a local demand, and at the same time,
supply
they cannot get
issue.
Cannot get more equipment to the state from manufacturing or from overseas. It's just going to be problem because you have people are going to be calling for HVAC needs, and unfortunately, probably any other trades, going to be a problem. But with HVAC, will be going to be a little bit different, just because it's comfort. Like we said it in the beginning, it's comfort, and you're either hot or cold. And if we're going to have hot summer, and people call in, and that's the worst. Happened before at COVID, was a weird feeling, very, very weird feeling. People call us to service them and replace their units, and we say, I don't have equipment to sell you.
Yeah.
It was like the worst time, and we tried our best to accommodate the needs, but I still remember like calling this manufacturer, I don't have. This manufacturer,
Yeah.
I don't have.
I don't have anybody working right now.
I don't have.
No one's building it.
Yeah,
Can't get them on the truck.
Exactly.
Can't get them in the.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so
exactly.
we feel like I'm. Let's say this. I'm hoping that it'll be a quick resolution to
yeah.
everything.
Yep. I hope so too.
We can go back to normal.
Yep.
But that's kind of it.
Well, I can say this. I know we always know there's going to be something. There's always some sort of instability, and in many cases, it creates an opportunity on the other side while we get through it. We just got to figure it out. As rough as things get, we know, human nature has a way of finding a way through that we do. And I'm looking forward to being able to share with our customers as well as yours, just not only more of your information, but to continue to offer your services and to get them connected. I think all homeowners need a trusted source like yourself and Jaguar Heating and Air to come in and provide them that level of information, insight, and trust.
And service. Absolutely.
And we're very proud to be partnered with you.
Thank you so
very
much.
proud.
And we're a family-owned business, so I work with a lot of technicians, and they're part of the family. But mainly, I have my wife behind me. I have my dad working in the business. I have my cousin in there. So I've been approached by a lot of big corporations to be sold out to them. So, but I still saying no, a good thing. So, message to people who are watching us: you're still getting the treatment, handshake. Back to the table. We're family-owned business. The decision is made in Jaguar immediately. They can reach the technicians, have access to me. They have my phone number. We can make a decision immediately, helping people. Versus sometimes big corporations own big companies. If they need an approval on a $10 discount, it's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's just a message. When you're searching, I like to work with family-owned businesses. When I hire a contractor in my house, and I wish the same thing to my clients. When they search for a company, maybe that's gonna make because we're here located in Sacramento. Our house in Sacramento, my sister house in Sacramento, my brother house in Sacramento, my father-in-law house in Sacramento. So we're just part of the community, and we care so much about our people and our customers. We're big also on Nextdoor. So Nextdoor is a social media platform. And without knowing, actually, we hear from people, people recommended you on Nextdoor, and people, I heard. So that's big to us, and I think that's the key of our success, and partnering with good people like yourself. I think that's just going to add more and more and more.
It is, and it's important. We're a employee-owned, family-owned
Love it.
Company too. So
Love it.
This partnership is going to be a great partnership, and I'm so excited. I told him when I met you and Gene the first time, I said, "Yeah, I like these guys," and
likewise.
This is going to be fun, and we appreciate you being here, sharing with our people.
I love the environment. Very nice office, by the way.
Oh, well, thank
you.
It's really well done, and you guys are just so legit and so comfortable talking to, and just good people. And I like to do business with good people.
Well, we're gonna do a bunch more of this.
That'll be the plan. And again, like I said, I'm just sitting there going, man, if only I knew all this stuff about 5 years ago. There's a lot of HVAC issues I could have avoided personally.
The good thing is, moving forward, no more
No more
issues.
No, I know them
You
now,
know,
but
we got you. There's one Jaguar. I always tell it, like there's many contractors, but there's just one Jaguar.
I like
Okay.
it,
There's
and,
one
and
Jaguar.
I believe in a name that has like you said, has something that sticks out. I don't believe in trying to just fall into the pack, and so I think your strategy was brilliant. And and again, thank you so much for all the information. Thank you for being here, and
thank you for having us.
And Buzz, thank you for making me tolerate your shoes for another episode. I can't do it. One of these days I'm going to come in with a pair of scissors, just cut them off your feet as we go, and we'll be live. But to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another episode of the Blitz Break. Our guest, Mustafa and Jaguar Heating and Air, more information and more powerful knowledge that I could have ever asked for to really help you understand the right way to approach home maintenance and your HVAC and working with a trusted source. Thanks for putting up with me, your host, Phil Rasmussen, putting up with Buzz and his god-awful shoes. We wrapping another episode here on a Friday. Hope you enjoy it. Again, please subscribe. Check us out. Lots of clips coming your way. We'll put all the information for Jaguar Heating and Air into the description and in the tags. And we hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.